Did I do something?
What do you want out of this?
I don't understand your question.
I mean it. What are you doing with me?
Welcome to Daily Nolly TV. Movie we are doing recap on today is Driving Mr. Banks. Hawa, who delivers foods to offices as her part-time work to support her mother. She met Mr. Banks and he told her their food is sweet and good. After a few days, Hawa delivered food to Mr. Banks as she waited to collect her payment. Collins told Mr. Banks that he is yet to get a qualified driver as he requested. Right there, Hawa told them she can drive and has her CV with her. She shows it to them and they saw she is even over quality. Mr. Banks then asked Hawa for a test drive, and just like that she was employed. She drove Mr. Banks for a few days. Then Mr. Banks had his first tremor in Hawa presence while in the supermarket. After that incident, Hawa was sacked by Mr. Banks. Hawa cried to her mother about it and she explained what happened to her. Her mother then encouraged her. Hawa then went to Mr. Banks' house to know exactly she did wrong to get sacked. She also promised not to tell anybody about his health condition and explained to him that she knows about his condition because her mother was a nurse and she explained his condition to her. So in that regard, his secret is safe with her.
To you because I love you.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand.
Hawa got employed again anytime his tremors happens. She is there to salvage the situation and save him. Hawa tried her best to keep Mr. Banks' secret for a long time, especially times of emergency meetings when his tremors happens. All these time, they both started bonding on friendship level. One day, his tremors got serious. Hawa drove Mr. Banks to the hospital. Dr. Charles prescribed a drug for him that was stronger than the ones he was taking before. These medicines helped sustain him more and had less tremor for a short period. While at it, Hawa and Mr. Banks goes for an award show.
You're a young woman. You're young, you're beautiful, you're smart. You can find someone. You find someone who is healthy. You don't have to be with someone who you're going to be taking care of for the rest of your life.
Hawa's mother gave her a beautiful gown to wear to the award event. She advised her daughter to be very careful because rich men hardly date poor women. Mr. Banks and Hawa returned from the event as she congratulated Mr. Banks for winning Best Technology Company at the award event. Mr. Banks and Hawa started developing feelings for each. They started dating, going on dates, making out in the office, and actually made their relationship official.
Oh, is that what you're into? Guys with diseases? Is that it? Look. You don't have to be with me.
You know what? It's fine.
After a few months, a contract came through for their company. Mr. Banks was making a presentation to shareholders of the company when his tremors unexpectedly started happening right in from everyone. This came as real shock to the shareholders. Mr. Banks was immediately suspended. This was he preventing all these while. Mr. Banks then had a very difficult conversation with Hawa. This conversation led to their breakup. But before the breakup, Hawa drove Mr. Banks to the hospital. They met a different doctor. Dr. Catherine told me Banks that she will like to continue tests. This will make her to know the medicine to change for him.
I've heard enough.
You're not going to walk out of me. I'm still talking to you.
You're still talking to me as what?
I'm your boss.
Then I quit. I quit, Yomi.
Hawa explains everything happening to her mother. Mr. Banks and Hawa went back to Dr. Catherine for the test results. Doctor them Mr. Banks that he is not sick. This was a shock for them. Doctor told him he was wrongly diagnosed and that the tremors may be a result or trauma from his past of a current situation he might be passing through. Dr. Catherine said she cannot give him any medication now, rather gave him a therapist number to call and also gave him some antibiotics and advice on some activities to do.
If after all this time we spent together, all you see me as is an employee that you can't disrespect, I quit. Can't spend another second with you.
Yes, go! As you're leaving, I don't want you to ever come back.
Hawa then tried to help me Banks talk about his family or past relationship. He got furious and asked her to leave. He was not ready to talk about his past. He also asked her never to return and their relationship was over. Because he has no job and his tremor is never going to get a solution, and with that there is not need for them to together again. He ended their relationship. Hawa cried to her mother as she narrated everything to her. From the breakup to the doctor's test results, her mother told her she will try to have chat with me Banks. This is because as a nurse she has seen wrong diagnoses so many times. How a mother visits Mr. Banks as a nurse, had a long chat with him as a nurse, explained how this tremors work and told him he must not tell her his past if he doesn't want to. Since he has a therapist, he must share this burden if he really wants to get healed and stop the tremors or talk to a stranger about it. Mr. Banks eventually visited the therapist and started pouring out his past. He explained how his late father beats his mother and this always shakes him. He always shivers anytime he gets flashbacks or anything relating to emotions gets him to shiver. This resulted in the tremors as he grows up. He visited the therapist a couple of weeks. He gave more details of all the domestic abuse he faced and witnessed. The therapist did her thing by helping him through it all. He got better after a few months. Mr. Banks went back to Hawa and apologized to her. He told her about his therapist sessions and how successful they have been. Hawa accepted his apologies and their relationship was back. Mr. Banks and Hawa went back to the hospital to get another results of a test did while attending a therapy sessions. Dr. Catherine told them he is better and his tremors has reduced drastically. All he needs now is more therapy sessions, more rest and more love around him. After the doctor's appointment, Hawa gave me Banks the car keys to drive. He did want to, but Hawa says she trusts him even if he doesn't trust himself. That was how Mr. Banks started driving himself again. What lesson did learn from this more? Did you enjoy this recap? Recommend a movie you want to see watch a recap of. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more recaps.